Fasten your seatbelt, please.
Whoa, that was good. Did you hear just
Hey guys, my name is Matt and this is my story. So a few weeks ago, earlier this summer, I got a notification on Amazon Prime that Men in Black was going to be available to stream. And I haven't watched that movie in years and years, and my kids have never seen it. We put it on, we start watching this movie, and of course they love it. They think it's hilarious, they're laughing at everything. And then we get to one of my favorite lines.
Series 4, deatomizer.
That's what I'm talking about.
Noisy cricket.
Hey, Kay, no.
No, it's not that one.
Second Lieutenant Jake Jensen, West Point, graduate with honors. We're here because you're looking for the best of the best of the best, sir.
What's so funny, Edwards?
Your boy Captain America over here. The best of the best of the best, sir. Yeah, with honors.
No, it's not that one either, although that's a good one. Actually, the line that we got to was this one.
Hey, is it worth it?
Oh, yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough.
And as I watched that line for the first time in years, I remembered how many times I remembered that line throughout my life. I'd even forgotten where it came from. But there would be so many times where I would be considering something for my future, and I would think to myself, would this be worth it? In particular, would this be worth it if I'm strong enough? And I played over and over again in my memory, and when I saw it this summer for the first time in years, I was pretty floored that was where it had came from. It's actually a very profound thing to say, and that concept is really at the core of fulfillment. What I started this channel about and what I've been building videos about up to this point is something worth it if you're strong enough. And since I said in my last video that I wanted to start out by giving some practical examples of my concept of fulfillment and trying to build more fulfillment into life, let me give you a couple practical examples. There was one that I ran into earlier this summer. I was actually out here in this same forest. I was scouting with a good friend of mine. His name's Sean. I'm going to drop a link to his YouTube channel. We got to talking about various life experiences, memories, so forth. And he told me something really interesting. He said that he had been in a band for some time. He's a guitarist. He got into more detail about it and said that he got into guitar mostly for his own enjoyment, and that he really liked figuring out music, figuring out chords to different things. I'm not a guitarist myself, so I'm just inferring, from the things that he's saying. But he would play it for himself, and as he did that for himself, it was a very fulfilling experience. And so when he became a part of this band and started participating in this band, the idea was like, well, I can do something that I enjoy, but I could also get paid for it. He recorded, he went on tours, he did a lot of interesting things. Some of the memories he was sharing were actually, I'm kind of a little bit jealous. I wish I'd been able to do some of these things. And so I think he has some really good memories of being in this band. But as he explained this, what he said was that he ultimately found the experience of being in a band fairly unfulfilling, because when you're in a band and you're touring and whatnot, playing for audiences, the focus is on the audience. The focus isn't on your own fulfillment, your own, just the pleasure of playing or whatnot. You're trying to provide an experience for somebody else, otherwise they're probably not going to pay you money. And I think that the musicians that are able to sustain a career in music, they somehow find that magical place where they end up playing the music that they enjoy, but also that their audiences like to hear. And so you get that nice synergy where you have those both overlapping themselves. If you recall the second graph that I put up in my last video, I'll pop it up right here on the screen for you if you forget. That's where you end up in this high value quadrant where you found a way to do something that you love, but then you also get paid for it. And this is where all of your alignment, your professional skills and experiences all build up to something along these lines. So you're lucky when you can find something like that, but ultimately for my friend Sean, that didn't end up being where he ended up. It ended up being productivity, something that you can do, you get paid for it, but you're missing that fulfillment type of component. And now that I covered that one, let me cover a second example, because just sort of serendipitously, I've started contemplating something for myself that is somewhat along these lines. I was approached over the course of this summer by my work, what I call my day job, and they approached me and asked if I would be interested in taking on a leadership position at my firm. And it's something that I haven't done up to this point. I typically work solo on my own projects, and it's something that I've kind of considered at various times up to this point, but never really that seriously. When I was approached with this, I think kind of just I'm at the confluence of several different things in my life that have been leading me up to this point, and I really stopped to think about it. And I've actually been putting now several weeks of thought into this. It's something where, if I had thought of this, say years ago, a decade ago, when I was much younger and in an earlier part of my career, I think my thought process would have been a lot different, and it would have been a lot more along the lines of how much would I get paid? Am I going to learn skills that I can use to convert into wealth? Am I going to make connections that I can use to convert into wealth? And so forth. It would have been very linear type of logic I'm applying to this. But as I'm contemplating it for myself this time, I find, I'm certainly asking some of those questions. If I'm going to take on that level of responsibility, of course, I'm going to want to be compensated for it. And, being paid what you're worth is a very important thing, and that's not something that you should at all discount if you find yourself in a similar position. But I'm also asking myself a lot of questions that are along the lines of fulfillment. Is this job going to give me the potential to grow other people through mentoring or coaching or direct technical skill development or so forth? Is this going to give me the opportunity to develop myself as, both through the experiences that I would get, but also from the types of people that I would be working with and also the types of people I'd be working for? Does this job align with my personal values and the things that I would be able to look back on as my future self and say, that was really worth doing because that was something that was really valuable that I contributed to this world? Am I going to be able to connect with people more in a meaningful way? Am I going to be able to acquire meaningful knowledge that I'm going to be able to use to build something fulfilling in my life? How much is this going to affect the time that I have with my wife, the time that I have with my kids, particularly as far as my kids are concerned? Since they're both boys, what type of an example am I going to be setting for my boys that they might be carrying on into their adult lives? Maybe that they see a dad that worked hard and pushed himself to the maximum that he could in his job, and they admired that. Or it could be that all of a sudden they have a dad that's not there for as many things that they wish he was there for. And maybe they might regret that a little bit. It's a lot more complex type of introspective search about whether I really want to take on this role or not. But at the core of that is still that fundamental underlying question is would this be worth it if I'm strong enough? And I don't know that I've necessarily come up with a definitive answer to that. It's fairly ambiguous because there's other opportunities that I'm also considering in my mind, and I have to kind of put the pieces to the puzzle and say which one of these is going to be the best thing for me to do with the time that I have. I just wanted to share that with you guys because most of us are going to be having some kind of a career throughout the course of our lives. That's going to be something that we have to confront at some point, is not necessarily just working for money, but also working for something that hopefully we can find fulfilling. And just kind of trying to put a few ideas in your head of some of the things that I'm contemplating, so that maybe when you get to this spot in your life, you'll also be able to contemplate that. Or maybe you already are at that spot in your life, and hopefully this resonates with you a little bit. And if it does, if you found this video useful, feel free to like and subscribe. Comment if you have any thoughts to share. I love reading the comments, and I've started this channel to connect with people that are experiencing similar things and have similar thoughts. So feel free to share, contribute as much as you'd like. I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.